For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Put the politicians on minimum wage and watch how fast things change, mate. No access to personal accounts. No fancy perks. No jumping the queue for medication. Chuck them into our daily lives. See how long they hang in there. Put the politicians on minimum wage and watch how fast things change, mate. No access to personal accounts. No fancy perks. No jumping the queue for medication. Chuck them into our daily lives. See how long they hang in there.
You think they will be able to survive on minimum wage? Hello everyone, welcome to another week of the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin. It is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Please like the video, share, subscribe to the NewsSpin YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin YouTube channel grow. We go up until about 5 minutes after 2 o'clock, and we'll be taking your calls at 452-2979. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. We trust you had yourself an enjoyable weekend and you're looking forward to effective, positive change on our island. It has to be positive. The waiting period at our various health institutions, reduce it. Let us have medication available for people who are seeking medication, to bring some kind of relief to them, to ease their pain literally, to address problems with regard to the education system, the transportation system in St. Lucia. For so long now, people have been waiting for hours after work and on evenings for a bus to head on to home so that they could get some rest, return to work tomorrow, and the wait has been unbearable. We have to address those issues. On the political front, our NewsSpin question of the day: what can a one-woman Sarah Flood Bobra protest achieve? What can a one-woman, and in this case, Sarah Flood Bobra, leading this particular effort, what can that achieve? And already, I went through some of the comments. One person said, absolutely nothing. But history is replete of so many instances when people have gone on hunger strikes and effected change. When people have protested for a better quality of life, the right to be represented by a trade union. Just take couple people that's worked. Take, for example, when one individual went beating pan outside the home of a certain prime minister 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And he had an explanation for doing that, He did have an explanation, and there is that explanation.
It's a habit of mine to either walk or do push-ups in the house or something of that sort. Right? So yesterday I decided to go and take a walk on the government road. Right? On the government road, which I pay tax for, I decided to go and take a walk on that road with somebody else. I decided to take my puns and knock them as well. Those are my puns I bought at Casabella. So I felt those are my puns, I could knock them if I want. I feel if I want to cook food in them or give them to the dogs, or probably put them outside or nail them on a tree, I can do that. So I felt I could knock my puns while walking on the government road. I later found out that where I was walking in Rodney Bay, the Prime Minister lives in Rodney Bay, everybody. While walking in Rodney Bay, that's where the Prime Minister lives. Some officers came out and told me that. I think he was kind of annoyed, and the officer as well, that I was knocking my puns by his home. And it was really not my fault. I really didn't want to disturb him. But I had no idea that he would build his house so close to the road. So I think it's really his fault for building his house so close to the road.
The guy is being facetious. Kingston Jean, beating pan 5 years ago. That's his right. So Sarah Flood Bobra is outside the offices of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia on the Castries waterfront earlier on today. So she has gone to V4, she has gone to Soufre, where the people run after her, and she is now on the Castries waterfront. And you could see there protesting, and a placard says, "The weight of what I know, Frederick must go." Now you don't want Sarah Flood Bobra to be on your case. You don't want her to be on your case. Resolute, pesky. You know what pesky is? Like a mosquito. Resilient, bothering you. And she's someone who stands up for what she believes in, whether you believe she is right or not. And that's the kind of people we want, whether they're supporting one party or another. In the end, we all will benefit from this. Because it's not often many of you have the courage to go out there and protest against what you perceive to be the ills in our St. Lucian society. St. Lucians are known for a couple of things. 2 Nobel laureates, a drive-in volcano, we have 2 airports. From time to time we have 2 prime ministers in office at the same time. And we're also known for gossiping and complaining. But we don't like to come forward. We don't like to ventilate openly, or to vent openly, and to protest. We like people to do it for us. So Sarah Flood Bobra, as far as she's concerned, is undertaking this particular effort, as she has done on so many occasions, as her civic duty. There's some people who have a conscience. They believe in something, they demonstrate, they display their abhorrence to something that is happening in the society, and they definitely will stand out. They will be remembered. There are some people who never die. There's some people who never die. Because up to a day like today, you hear of Dr. Martin Luther King. Why? He stands out. So, in the flesh, yes, he has died. But otherwise, we continue to make reference to him. Sir John Compton has not died. Continue to make reference to Sir John Compton and his stewardship, certain aspect of it controversial, but he laid the foundation. And thus far, he remains peerless. You can't compare any of those other prime ministers to Sir John Compton. So some of the comments, reaction to our NewsSpin question of the day. What can a one-woman protest achieve? And some of the comments, you don't need a crowd to be powerful. She's doing more than enough. The other person says it will do what all the complicit women in and around this SLP administration either refuse to or are afraid to do. With all due respect to Sarah, she's proving to have more courage than all of them put together. I thought he would say more balls. Another comment, the fact that some people are commenting about her hair, she has already achieved something. And that something is their attention, because for them to know that she's trying to achieve when she hasn't achieved anything in the past, that's a plus for her. It's better to keep talking than to stay quiet. While wickedness, victimization, racism, hatred, corruption, lack of transparency, accountability, integrity, and responsibility are happening in high places. Sarah is not the only one that has not achieved, as per some people believed, but she's one that has not and will never stay quiet and watch evil flourish. So her voice says that she can't be bought like many others who pretended that they were the voice for the voiceless until they were politically bought. Right is right, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who does it, and Sarah has proven to us that she's always trying to stand for what's right, even when she has to stand alone. Another reaction, Tim. My take on this is a one-woman Sarah Flood protest does not instantly fix a broken government, but it does something equally crucial. It converts passive, isolated anger into visible, undeniable moral pressure. It turns silent suffering into a public crisis that politicians cannot ignore. It forces the media and public to break their silence. Government/public officials try to rewrite history or sweep systemic atrocities like gender-based violence, embezzlement, etc. under the rug. By standing publicly, Sarah Flood forces the authorities to make a choice. Ignore her and let her message spread, or arrest/harass a peaceful woman and expose their own cowardice to the world. Either choice damages the legitimacy of a corrupt government. A solo protest is creating a record. She is creating undeniable historical and legal documentation. She is creating photographs, videos, and news reports that cannot be erased while forcing international human rights bodies to take notice. My information is that attempts were made by at least one police officer to remove her from that area outside the office of the Prime Minister, where she led that silent protest earlier today. Another comment, Sarah is speaking on behalf of the voiceless women. I'm so proud of her courage. Way to go, Sarah. Another person says, absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Another one, food for thought. And some more of your comments. I don't think it will go anywhere, because a lot of these women will not support Sarah Flood because they have in the party. Another comment, finally. Solutions have become blind to justice. They have been brainwashed by a political party. I fully support her efforts, but sadly her protest will not be effective. And that's your responses to today's NewsSpin question of the day. And that question of the day, once again, what can a one-woman Sarah Flood-Bowburn protest achieve? The 26th, yesterday, the 5th anniversary of the St. Lucia Labour Party victory at the polls, July the 26th of 2021. And within that 5 years, it has been in office for 2 terms, now into its 2nd term. And to coincide with that anniversary, statement by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre posted on his Facebook page. I learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. And that quote is being attributed to Nelson Mandela. Continues, 5 years ago today, that's on July 26, 2021, the people of St. Lucia entrusted me with one of the greatest honors of my life, to serve as your 9th Prime Minister. Well, the people did not entrust him to be Prime Minister of St. Lucia because we've heard time and time again, it's the majority of the elected MPs who choose their Prime Minister. Continues, as I reflect on that historic day, I give thanks knowing that through faith in God, perseverance, hard work, and an unwavering belief in the people of St. Lucia, I stand today humbled by the privilege of serving our nation. 2 days later, I would take the oath of Prime Minister, and I promise to be Prime Minister for all the people, not just those who voted for me. These past 5 years have brought challenges unlike any we could have imagined, but they have also been years of resilience, progress, and hope. Every decision we have made has been guided by one simple principle: putting you first. To the people of Castries East, thank you for your enduring confidence. To the members, supporters, and leadership of the St. Lucia Labour Party, thank you for your commitment and sacrifice. Most importantly, to every citizen of St. Lucia, whether you supported us in 2021 or not, thank you for walking this journey with us. It continues, our work is not finished. The vision we shared 5 years ago remains alive. Together we will continue building a stronger economy, expanding opportunities for our young people, protecting the vulnerable, and creating a more just and prosperous St. Lucia for every family. I remain grateful to Almighty God for His guidance and grace, and I ask for His continued wisdom as we move our country forward. 5 years later, my pledge remains unchanged. I will continue to put you first. Together, St. Lucia will continue to prosper. We will try to establish contact with the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Alain Chastain, to give his assessment of the stewardship of the St. Lucia Labour Party administration over the last 5 years, and in particular, the stewardship of his successor. So anytime from now, we should be able to establish contact with the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Alain Chastain, who is currently overseas. I think he's on the line right now. Hello and good afternoon to you, Mr. Chastain. Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, sir. How about you?
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Very good, thank you. Very good, thank you.
All right. Your take on the stewardship of the Prime Minister and the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, marking its 5th anniversary since the last since the elections of 2021.
I actually have a prepared statement. Will you give me permission to read it?
Yes, go ahead.
So, 5 years into the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, the country has reached an alarming milestone. The economy has contracted despite unprecedented levels of borrowing and government spending. This cannot be attributed to COVID-19 because by the end of 2022, St. Lucia had already recovered from the pandemic, recording one of the fastest economic recoveries in CARICOM, surpassed only by Guyana. Yet instead of building on that recovery, the economy now has entered contraction. Over the past 3 years, the government has added approximately $1.8 billion and a further $350 million of debt during the last year alone. And if you remember, has injected an estimated $250 million from the Citizenship by Investment program into the economy. Despite this unprecedented level of borrowing and fiscal stimulus, the economy has still contracted, leaving St. Lucians with a heavier debt burden, but very little to show for it. United Workers' Party takes this opportunity to reflect on the past 5 years under the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, a period that began in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic, one of the most severe health and economic shocks in our nation's history. COVID-19 caused St. Lucian economy to contract by 22%, with government revenues cut in half. While the previous United Workers' Party administration acted decisively, reopening borders ahead of most destinations, prioritizing construction to sustain employment, and laying the groundwork for recovery, the SLP inherited a platform for rebound and growth. The recovery was evident, with the economy recording growth of 12% in 2021 and 18% in 2022. However, instead of building on this momentum, the SLP administration reversed or stalled several key national development initiatives, including the HIA airport redevelopment, housing projects, the DSH project, the Viewfort cruise port, the new St. Jude's Hospital. These decisions have left St. Lucia questioning what could have been achieved had continuity and execution been prioritized. Today, after 5 years in the office, St. Lucians are left to assess the results. More than 70 homicides annually for the past 4 years reflect a deepening crime crisis. Billions of dollars in foregone investment opportunities, including stalled or abandoned initiatives such as the CIP reforms, the Halls of Justice, GPH developments, and the National Lottery Authority. The loss of visa-free access to United Kingdom and Ireland, with growing uncertainty regarding the future access to European travel arrangements. No implementation of universal health insurance, and St. Jude's Hospital project still incomplete after 6 years and over $350 million in expenditure. Tourism performance that remains below the 2019 levels, alongside continued decline in agriculture and the banana sector. A failed approach to the cost of living crisis, with St. Lucians facing the highest fuel prices in recent history, increased bus fares, a sharp rise in the cost of basic necessities. The price of bread has doubled, water bills have doubled, and electricity costs have significantly increased, placing further strain on households already under pressure. The cancellation of the e-school books program introduced on the United Workers' Party, which has resulted in parents now bearing a higher cost for school books and educational materials, adding further to the burden families across the country. United Workers' Party notes with concern that this administration's legacy is increasingly defined not by transformation or progress, but by economic contraction, record borrowing, rising taxation, escalating crime, growing national debt, persistent public dissatisfaction, and ongoing allegations of mismanagement and corruption. As St. Lucia reflects on the past 5 years, the question remains: how has the country ended up with a contracting economy after borrowing billions of dollars, spending hundreds of millions of dollars in CIP resources, and inheriting one of the strongest post-pandemic recoveries in the Caribbean? More importantly, what tangible improvements in the lives of ordinary St. Lucians can this administration genuinely point to? United Workers' Party will continue to advocate for accountability, responsible governance, sound economic management, and a clear plan to restore confidence, safety, opportunity, and prosperity to St. Lucia. Now, Tim, you also added some very important points. Has the quality of life improved? Access to healthcare, access to basic things like transportation, the ability to be able to save money and to have hope. And we say that in the last 5 years, the light has diminished in St. Lucia. And the fact is that this government does not want to be held accountable in any way for what we're currently going through in this country. You know, there was a young parliamentarian in Antigua. And I have to say that I was very, very impressed with his contribution. And he was speaking specifically about the CIP. And he said, we are not the victims, but we are the co-conspirators of the crime. The time is nigh, the bell has rung, and the cat has been belled. And it is there for all of us to see. And it is time that solutions take back control of their country and stop believing and defaulting to what they think is the truth. This Labour Party does not put you first. What this Labour Party is interested in is protecting the victory. And that victory is coming at a cost to the hopes, aspirations, and basic standard of living of all solutions. So I can happy to answer any other questions you have, Tim, at this point, if you have any.
Well, the anniversary of the St. Lucia Labour Party, I'm sure that its supporters will say something that is totally different from what you have just said there. And they will make reference to what they deem to be some of the gains that were made by the St. Lucia Labour Party administration ever since it came into office in July of 2021. Do you believe that the majority of the St. Lucian public, and particularly the voters, identify with what you just said there with regard to the performance of the government?
I think, Tim, that St. Lucia has been robbed of alternative voices. I think that for many St. Lucians, the silence of our media houses, the silence of our civil society, have almost suggested that anything that the United Workers' Party is saying is not true and not consequential. But I'm comforted, and I'm hoping that more and more St. Lucians themselves will become comforted in what the facts are. The fact is, the Labour Party came in. We said that they were going to increase the VAT by 2.5%. Well, they didn't call it VAT. They ended up calling it a health and security tax. They said it was only going to be there for 2 years. 2 years came, they extended it, and they said, oh, no, we never said that. They allowed the price of bread to double. They've allowed bus fares to go up. The crime rate is there for everybody to see. The most murders we ever had in 1 year was 60. We've now had 4 consecutive years of 70 plus murders, and it does not seem to be any slowdown. I mean, I was happy to hear, contrary to what the government said, remember when they came in and they found the K9 unit there, and they dismantled the K9 unit and told St. Lucians it was unnecessary, it was not effective. Today now you want to come and boast, how many years later, that you're going to have now 3 K9s. So we're back to where we were all the way in 2021. And it's taken us 5 years. How many murders, how many people have been importing things illegally in all that time to find out that that's what the truth is? So the cost of living is real. The state of crime is real. The state of healthcare in this country is real. There are people going there every day and telling their stories of not being able to get medication. That the staff there are frustrated. Is it not true that the Labour Party in 2021 said to St. Lucians, did a report, and said that they want to have a hospital in the south the cheapest and fastest way possible. Isn't that what they said, Tim?
Yeah, the
They
information
did a
is there.
whole study, right? They said that. So here it is, what, 5 years later? You said it was going to take 6 months and $30 million. I'm not even going to take your allegations of chemical seriously, but you said 6 months and $30 million. It's been 6 years and $350 million. A simple thing about a fire taking place at the hospital, which should be in the interest of every single St. Lucian, the Labour Party has wanted to deny it. And I say this because there has been an orchestration by the Labour Party to give people a different sense of what the truth is. But you can only hide the truth for so long because everybody will start now living it. I mean, I don't know how shocked you were. I have to tell you, I was dismayed and disgusted at the same time when the announcement came that we were going to lose our British visa and very shortly afterwards our Irish visa. And the government's response to that was, people don't go to England and Ireland anyway. And then, if I'm not mistaken, 2 weeks later, there was a report that came out to say that Spain was giving us visa-free access. And all of a sudden, the government says how great it is to be able to have visa-free access to different places. So the fact is, 5 years ago, St. Lucians could get on a plane and go to England or go to Ireland. No advance notice, just buy an airline ticket. Today, they can't. We're being told by the Europeans, clearly, if you don't terminate your CIP program, we're going to terminate the Schengen visa. So for all those persons that continue to try to say the loss of visas has nothing to do with the CIP program, here is further evidence, notwithstanding the evidence that was there before. So I'm just saying to you, Tim, every single day that goes by, there's certain truths that I know. As a former prime minister, as a business person, as an economist, you can read the tea leaves. You cannot have a situation where the debt of the country is increasing every year faster than what the economy is growing. You also cannot have a situation where the cost of running government is growing faster than the revenue. And in fact, we are about to reach a point where the cost of running government is greater than the revenue that we're generating on an annual basis. That's a recipe for disaster. Because what it means is the government is going to have to make some very difficult choices very soon. Either cut staff, cut services, or both. Or the favorite thing that this government likes to do is never take responsibility for their actions and increase taxes. As if somehow people are going to find the money magically somewhere. Money that they themselves cannot generate. The decisions of GPH are going to haunt us. The decisions of St. Jude's is haunting us. The decision of the halls of justice is haunting us. The decisions of NLA, $100 and something million. The decision of how we've spent the CIP money. We now know factually that money was put into the SSDF from the CIP program leading up to the elections. And it is very clear that ministers of government had access to blank signed checks. And there's no control. That is what we've inherited. These are the facts on the table. How you can tell me that the country is any better today than it was before? And the single thing that the Labour Party wants to go back to every single time is to blame Alan Shastney. I'm responsible. I've not been there for 5 years. Not my policies. When we told you about what's happening with CIP, you said that we were what? We were, what did he call us again, Tim? He said that we were enemies of the state. Mm-hmm. Anytime you have something to say, to offer the government any advice that's contrary to what they're doing, you become an enemy of the state. But you cannot run away from what the facts are. The facts are that we are much worse off today than we were in 2019 before COVID.
But finally,
and I thought, the facts that when you look at how we handled COVID, Tim, and you know the level of criticism that I received from the Labour Party about opening up the border. I'm the only person who believed that tourism would come back. When we did the same DFCs that they're doing right now, we did DFCs with 3 major contractors, completely transparent. We said how much money was going in. Everybody knew which roads we were going to do to stimulate jobs on the ground. Because there was only so much amount of money we would have had to continue to subsidize the loss of income that people were suffering. We had to get back to work. And we said we're going to protect lives and livelihoods. And we found that niche of businesses that we could get into that were not jeopardizing people's health through COVID, but at the same time that they were generating economic activity. Let's look at a simple thing. We can look back at it in hindsight. One of the first decisions I made was, if you remember, Radio St. Lucia. And when we looked at it, it was going to cost $8 million to fix up the building and get Radio St. Lucia back up and operating. But the environment had changed. When Radio St. Lucia first came in, it was the only radio station, Tim. But Radio had, in 2017, it was nothing. You, Timothy Poleon, on the radio stations that you were on, were providing substantially better coverage of hurricanes and staying open the entire night. Radio St. Lucia couldn't do that. So the question became the amount of money that we would have to spend on revamping Radio St. Lucia, and now to keep it operational. I had to ask the question, what service was Radio St. Lucia providing? And was it not true that all of the other radio stations collectively together were doing a better job? And would it not be better for us to get time on all of those rich radio stations and focus our effort on producing shows and not competing against those different companies on the distribution of the shows? Those are some tough decisions. The decision to be able to go with ebooks. And yes, it was a quantum change as to how people thought. But the fact is that through ebooks, you were giving young people technology for the future. But more importantly, that people, the young kids and parents now, could buy all of the books for $250 a year. That's what the license fee was. And we paid the license fee for the first 3 years. But if you continue to pay $250 versus over $1,000 every year to buy new books. And when the books were being updated, because of the technology, the update was automatically being done for free to improve the quality, the cost, and improve the quality of education for our kids. They terminated the program. They went and told people, and you can explain that to me, how is it giving a young person a blank computer even comparable to an ebook? And then when they get the computer, there's no software program in it. It's not part of your school curriculum. So I don't know what you're doing with the computer. And maybe you're enjoying yourself, and that's fantastic, because computers are useful. But the application that we had it designed for, it was making zero contribution to improving kids' education. Zero. And these are some of the tough decisions you have to be able to make. Find better value for your tax dollars so you don't have to increase taxes.
But let me ask you one question as we're getting set to conclude this interview, sir. People are calling for the resignation of the housing minister. But you're on record of having dismissed or having them to resign 2 government ministers during your previous United Workers' Party administration, in Dr. Ebeldus Raymond and Mr. Jimmy Henry. What say you to this?
This is a very, very simple decision the Prime Minister has to make. In fact, I'm surprised that it's taking him this long. Richard, from what we can see, is being alleged of criminal activities, sexual activities with these young girls. That is for a court to determine. But the damning fact is that
but we have not. No, but Mr. Former Prime Minister, we have not heard. I'm just saying to you, we have not heard of the allegation. What we have heard, and we have to be very careful on this. What we have heard is that the police, they are investigating the minister, but they have not stated what exactly they are investigating.
Okay, but the young ladies have said it, and other people have said it.
Yeah, but we can't.
So I'm just saying to you, I'm staying within your confines.
Yes.
There are allegations of sexual misconduct. Okay, there are allegations. If in fact, after the police investigate the manner which they have, so they've taken the allegations seriously, and if they then decide that they're going to press charges, then it becomes something different. And at that point, whatever statements that the women have made will be made public. The second thing is the issue with the SSDF checks. There was already, and I can contest to that, allegations that the ministers had blank signed checks. When this came out, this only provided substantial evidence, and we've seen the evidence. We've seen the checks from the two young women from SSDF. Now, this is where the problem comes in. Why were they on the SSDF? And all those naysayers out there need to stop with their nonsense. And what do I mean by that? If they were legitimately supposed to be receiving checks from SSDF, Tim, there's a process. Their names are put on the list, they're contacted, and they go to an SSDF office to collect the check and sign for it. Accountability. There's nowhere in the system that allows for a minister of government or district rep or any other government official outside of the SSDF to give these ladies the checks. So that alone is a big problem. And he has a deeper problem in his hand because we know that international organizations and outside countries also contribute money to SSDF. And those countries take the allegation of monies being used to exploit young women for sexual favors very seriously. So just on that alone, and the pictures that have come out, so what did the pictures tell us? The pictures tell us that the minister, and we've heard the two persons say they received the checks from Richard Frederick, and they've provided, and their checks are going all around, and the person who put those checks out was the young lady Bernadette herself, who put those checks out. Nobody else. We don't have to guess where it came from. She put out the checks and said, what you're talking is nonsense. Here are the checks that you gave me. What's the explanation? What's the explanation? That is even reasonably acceptable. And this is why Richard Frederick should have either resigned himself, but I know that he does not have that character in him to resign himself, because he'll always deny that he's done anything wrong, because that's the pattern of behavior that we've seen with him. He's a narcissist. He's always right. Everybody else is wrong. But the Prime Minister and civil society and the general public should be demanding his resignation. And my government, I have personal history with this, Tim. When Richard lost his visa in 2011, the only two people that knew at the time in St. Lucia that he'd lost his visa was the then Prime Minister Stephenson King and Richard Frederick. And Cabinet did not know. In fact, Cabinet found out that Richard had lost his visa when Janine Compton announced it. And that's another story as to how Janine was the person that got the information and made that information public. And when that happened, there was an immediate meeting with Richard and the Prime Minister to find out that both of them did know, and that Richard had convinced the Stephenson King then not to do anything, to give him 2 weeks to resolve the matter. He did the same thing with us. He said he's very close to getting this resolved. If you remember, there was he made the blame that the people at the embassy didn't like him or whatever, and that he was going to go to higher authorities and he was going to get his visa back because this thing was all a mistake. Well, the 2 weeks went and came, and nothing happened. And Richard was still refusing to resign. And in fact, it was Cabinet who put the pressure on Steve to force Richard to send in his letter of resignation. And if he didn't, then Steve had to fire him. And finally, Richard sent in his letter of resignation when he realized that everybody was seriously. I believe there's a bit of deja vu taking place. I think that Richard believes that he can convince these young women, and we've seen the comments going on social media back and forth, to either withdraw the case. The young lady has said that Richard has attempted to have her withdraw the case, to give an apology. And I think that there is an all-out effort by Richard at this point to make that happen. And he might succeed. Because that's what we've seen in the past. We've seen that Lawrence Theophilus was charged with rape. I can say that. And the young woman eventually withdrew the case. Claudius Francis. We just had the same situation with the police officers, the female police officers, dealing with the deputy commissioner of police.
But therefore we cannot.
All of a sudden,
but we definitely, Mr. Shasta, we definitely cannot vouch for why the cases were withdrawn. Again, you have to be extremely careful because we don't have the evidence. At least I do not have the evidence to present. Particularly if I'm not making any allegations. I'm just saying, particularly if I'm taken to court on those matters. Okay, so again, let's be extremely careful.
Okay, but is it not safe to state a fact? Is it not true that Lawrence Theophilus was charged with rape?
Yes.
And in fact, the statements of the young woman that she made as to how she was raped are public.
Yeah, but we don't know why the matters. But we don't know why the matters were withdrawn.
And I did not say.
Yeah.
I did not say. I said, but maybe. I said we have a history of where people file claims and there's charges laid, and eventually they're withdrawn.
Right.
I'm not making any allegation as to how that happened. I'm just stating a fact. That's what has happened. It's not new. But I'll say this to you, Tim. I mean, I'm about to put out a statement, which is a statement to the public of St. Lucia on this very similar matter. And we should really be honest with ourselves as to what we're asking women to do to hold men accountable for their conduct. The evidence that they have to provide, the testimonies that they have to give, the public embarrassment that they have to go through. And look, let's take the sex off the table. Let's look at Joy St. Omer. It's right before our very eyes. Just happened. Is there anything that you could have recommended to Joy that she'd do differently? And eventually, I heard you reading the letter the other day, the last letter that she wrote, where she expressed her absolute frustration with the entire system. And that's with a person threatening her life, which is bad enough. But imagine now when you add the sexual part to it, how women would feel to describe what it was to be raped. Or when they're being extorted, to explain the rationale in their mind as to why they allowed themselves to be extorted, even though they knew they were being extorted. And how many examples do we have of cases, and that's what I'm saying, that charges are made, people go through this process, and eventually people withdraw. Because the justice, I think, in speaking to some of them, wasn't what they're expecting it to be. And that's a sad indictment to all of us as society, that we need to have greater empathy in our laws. And what we're asking women to do in particular to prove their innocence. I ask everybody to take a time out, just go and play it out in your mind as to what we're asking women to do, particularly women who have been sexually abused or physically abused. And Joy St. Omer's example is fresh there for all of us to see. And if there was ever a need for what Sarah said for an inquiry, that is it. Because that's not just about Joy, but that's for all the other women in the future, that they don't go through and suffer what Joy did. Joy gave us the roadmap. We didn't have to guess what she was thinking. She wrote it out for us to see for ourselves what she was going through. She deserves that moment of justice. And I'm sure I did not meet Joy, but from reading the letters and seeing her statements, she is a person that seemed to have not just empathy for herself, but also for others. And I'm sure that Joy would want to know that her life was not lost in vain.
Thank you so much.
It's sad, Tim.
Yeah.
It's sad, Tim. And you predicted it, I predicted it, and many other people predicted it. That the Joy St. Omer story would be a one-week wonder. And I can just say this message. Over the last 5 years, what has been missing has been accountability and guardrails. And somehow our system has been corrupted. And the result of it is the silence, and that silence is letting too many people believe that everything is okay when the evidence is right there in front of us that things are not good in St. Lucia. Thank you, Tim.
All right, thank you so much. Just so there from the leader of the opposition and former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Alan Shastney. One of the individuals who got dismissed during his reign was Mr. Jimmy Henry. He was then a minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, and he did call NewsSpin on July the 9th to speak on his firing.
My fellow St. Lucians, I take the opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to the government of St. Lucia and to the Honorable Prime Minister Alan Shastney, in particular, for having afforded me the high honor of serving my country as a member of the St. Lucia Senate and as a minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Physical Planning, Natural Resources, and Cooperatives. For reasons altogether personal, I have decided to tender my resignation with immediate effect from the Senate and as a minister. Due to these personal matters, at this time I am unable to give the attention necessary to my ministerial duties. I wish to thank my dedicated supporters in Dennery North who have stood by me through thick and thin. I will continue to maintain a keen interest in the development of my community, and I assure all of you of my confidence in the advancement of our community under the current administration. To my cabinet colleagues, I say thank you for your guidance and support received over the past year. I continue to have full confidence in the direction of the government, and I wish my colleagues all the best in achieving success. I thank you.
Obviously, that was not a statement made on July the 9th via NewsSpin, but it was a statement made announcing his resignation from the previous United Workers' Party administration. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. See you in just a moment.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Are you looking for premium quality, frozen fresh at an unbeatable price? Visit Kenty's today, your one-stop shop for wholesale and retail liquor and frozen foods. Now fully stocked with chicken wings, chicken legs, chicken necks, pigtails, turkey wings, and so much more. Visit Kenty's on Chaussee Road today or give them a call at 461-3446. Kenty's, frozen fresh, great prices, and service you can trust.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucelec at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart, stay safe.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Epic Events and Events St. Lucia presents St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, August 14th to 16th. A unique crossover event linking the English and French Caribbean. Saturday, Mercury Fest at Pigeon Island Beach, featuring Merrill, Fanny J, DJ MJ, and top regional DJs. Sunday, the Boca Run along St. Lucia's spectacular West Coast for a chance to win 5,000 euros. Tickets available at fourcirclestickets.com, bzook.com, The Cell, and 6 Car Rental in the Rodney Bay Marina. Follow us on social media. St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, supported by St. Lucia Tourism Authority.
The very popular Catch a Day is back, and the buzz is going around like a busy bee. And it makes sense because customers are guaranteed 15% off on all Kasha machines. People have been itching to hear this news, and it's finally here. The dates, August 28th and 29th, 2026. The place is Europa Hardware in Massad. The event is Catch a Day for the fathers, men and ladies too. Everyone wants to pay less and get more. This is your time. Vacuum cleaners, pressure washers, steam cleaners, upholstery cleaners, carpet cleaners, floor scrubbers, and more. Don't say if I knew. Now you know. 452-0763 Europa.
Now is the time to head up. Join us at the Bellevue Hotel Rooftop Lounge for the Rooftop After Work Lime, happening every last Thursday from June through November. We kick things off Thursday, June 25th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come through for sunset views, team cocktails, good music, great people, and the kind of lime that makes you forget about that work email. Bring your crew, meet somebody new, and enjoy a different seasonal vibe every month. Entry is US $40 per person. Space is limited, so don't get left downstairs. Call 456-1800 to reserve your spot. The Rooftop After Work Lime at Bellevue Hotel. Your new favorite way to end the month.
Every day, the pain is still there. Back, neck, shoulder, hip, chronic arthritis, pain down your leg to your toes, or heel pain when you put your foot on the ground. You've tried many things, but nothing works. Waiting will only make it worse. At La Clinique du Corps, we find the real cause of your pain using advanced MRI scans from head to toes with no radiation for more accurate results. Our specialist doctors provide faster diagnosis and effective treatment. Less pain, better movement, better life. All insurance is accepted. Call now before it gets worse. 451-6559, that's 451-6559, or WhatsApp 721-9950. WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique du Corps. Stop suffering. Start living.
Fast Pay, a new and easy way to pay. Fast Pay, Fast Pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow FastPay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow FastPay. Flow FastPay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
NightMeds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miko Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. NightMeds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
An supposé, ça c'est dernier kwas de l'eau. En temps cette lisi, tant ka wem ka vini pli long ek pli wed, ek sous de l'eau nou ka cheche. Ek la plia ka tobe pli fort ek pli terrible, ça ka dommage kay nou ek système de l'eau nou. Mais nous sa changer ça. Nous sa conserver de l'eau ek protéger sous de l'eau nou. Chaque ti démarche nous point ça wede. Wasko ka travaille ensemble et puis agent pour manager sous l'eau et ka permettre pour assurer de l'eau en temps qui ka veni. Mais nous besoin si pour. Ensemble, nous sa protéger de l'eau nous, santé nous et ka assurer de l'eau pour l'autre génération. Un petit pas ça mène gros changement. On nous protéger de l'eau nous et la vie nous pour temps qui ka veni. Pour plus d'informations, visitez wascostlucia.com.
St. Lucia, are you ready? The Kings are back. This August, come experience the excitement of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League cricket as the St. Lucia Kings light up the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Join us on August 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th and 21st from 7 p.m. Come for the cricket, come for the entertainment, come for the music, the vibes, the food and the unforgettable atmosphere. Bring your friends, bring your family, and wear your King's colors with pride as we defend our home turf. St. Lucia Kings, one nation, one pride. Get your tickets now and be part of the action at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. The briefcase would like to announce a temporary closure of its operations. Please be informed that the briefcase will be closed from Tuesday, the 28th of July, 2026 to August the 12th, Wednesday, August the 12th of 2026. The briefcase will reopen on Thursday, 13th of August this year, and they'd like to apologize for inconvenience this may cause. I'd like to thank you for your understanding. Time to hear from you at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello and good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, Mr. Montut.
Hi. Yes, Tim. The bacchanal is over, Tim, but the scandal continues. You know, I just heard the leader of the opposition talk about some of us being silent. Well, you know, Tim, I have maintained my silence, watching, waiting, and hoping that the PM would, for a change, honor his words and show reverence for the office that he holds and safeguard the principles of accountability, good governance, and wholesome democracy. But as we have come to expect from Philip Chapier, it is all about politics and the paramountcy of the party. It is not uncommon, Tim, to hear allegations and accusations leveled at politicians in St. Lucia, often by anonymous sources and without a shred of credible evidence. However, when a party or parties come forward and directly implicate a government minister and there is evidence, albeit to be tested, suggesting that there is substance to the accusation, this must be taken seriously and our leaders must demonstrate propriety in dealing with the matter. Countries like the UK and the USA, after which we have fashioned our democracy, are replete with examples of how such matters are dealt with. That is, if they are responsible, they are dealt with in a transparent and credible manner by good leaders. St. Lucia is fast going down the path of a rogue, corrupt, anti-democratic one-party state with Philip J. Pierre and the St. Lucia Labour Party government. Meanwhile, the citizens of this country are by our behavior inadvertently condoning and encouraging it with silence and indifference. St. Lucians are scared to speak out or to take a stand for a number of reasons. And I will give you a few examples of the reasons why. For example, some benefit from government jobs and contracts and are afraid to lose that. Secondly, many are scared of reprisals and victimization meted out to them or their families, and so they keep quiet. Some are scared of vilification and personal attacks on their reputation and character, and so they remain in hiding. Others rely on government handouts, which will not be forthcoming if they speak out or take a stand. This having been said, Tim, I feel a moral compulsion as someone who has been around and a former Minister of Social Transformation with responsibility for the SSDF and knowing what that agency is meant for and how it is supposed to operate. We are seeing copies of SSDF checks alleged to have been issued by Richard Frederick, a member of cabinet who has no jurisdiction over the agency, for purposes totally unrelated to the mandate of SSDF, which is specifically intended to serve and deliver basic assistance to the disadvantaged, marginalized, and indigent in our communities. This is a serious indictment on Minister Frederick, being accused of misappropriating government funds intended for an entirely different and far more noble purpose than what he is alleged to have used it for. The minister with oversight for SSDF must also be held accountable and explain how such a situation was allowed to fester under his watch. After all, the minister is responsible for providing oversight to the organization and to ensure that it functions according to its mandate and the dictates of the SSDF Act. By the way, Tim, the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, Minister of Finance, is the substantive minister responsible for the SSDF. Then, of course, there is the Executive Director and the Board of Directors who manage the affairs and operation of the agency, who should not allow for the possibility for such an abuse of the SSDF funds to occur. Those funds are sourced from private entities, from the CDB, World Bank, and other donor agencies and governments like the UK and Taiwan, under the pretext that it would be used for the poor and vulnerable. But instead, Tim, we are seeing that it's being used for other illicit purposes. The Executive Director, Mr. Victorin, must make a statement to let us know whether he is guilty of gross dereliction of duty, allowing a situation like this, or whether there was a higher overriding power that sanctioned that misuse of the poor people's funds. There are also some prominent members on the Board of Directors who ought to know better and who should not aid and abet that kind of abuse of state funds, nor remain silent in the face of such abuses. And I want to single out a few of them, Tim. For example, Mr. Imran Williams. And for those of you who do not know, he is the Director of Finance in St. Lucia. He is government's Chief Accounting Officer for Finance, and most certainly he ought to know better. And in terms of how, I want to know how can he, allow this to take place under his watch, and up to now, he has not found it fit to utter one word. Dr. Cordelia Ambrose, she's the PS of local government, a PS in Richard Frederick's ministry. As a PS, you ought to know the proper administration and running of government and government agencies. And what have you got to say, Madam PS? Have you upheld your responsibility as a director by allowing a situation like what is being described to have taken place? There are also some prominent citizens as well. For example, there is a gentleman called Mr. Lucius Elevic, and he is the representative of the credit unions on the board of directors. You certainly, sir, must have an understanding of financial administration and accounting for the proper use of funds. I am certain you do not want to be seen as a conspirator, nor would you want this to create questions about the institutions you represent. Of course, there is also another person I want to mention, for obvious reasons. There is also the vocal, outspoken advocate and champion of women and poor people's causes, Catherine Seelys. It is rather odd that you two, Catherine Seelys, are part of the silent squad on this, just as you have called on me and others in the past to speak out. It is incumbent upon you as a director of the SSDF and part and parcel of what goes on with the agency to raise your voice. It is important that all St. Lucians who know better and are well-intentioned to begin to speak out and take a stand. There are those who are invested in the supper time choir team, those who sing for the supper. There are the Calypsonians, some of them, media workers, and the party sycophants who are preoccupied brown-nosing and too blind to recognize the long-term deleterious and detrimental results of allowing the erosion of good governance and democratic principles. Finally, Tim, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, I hope he is not paralyzed by fear or losing power. I hope he's not afraid of losing power. I hope he's not afraid of Richard Frederick. I hope he is not afraid of upholding good governance, and that he too will do the honorable and appropriate thing and relieve Richard Frederick of his position in cabinet. We are not talking about any administrative matter. We're talking about a decisive action of leadership that represents good governance, that is consistent with democratic principles, and that upholds the appearance that justice is being allowed to be served. So, Richard Frederick must be relieved of his position as a minister in the cabinet. I want to say to the Prime Minister, you must demonstrate that this matter involving Minister Frederick is being dealt with seriously and justice will be seen to be done. Do what's right. Frederick must go. Do not be fooled into believing for a moment that this will just go away with the passage of time. You must act, or those of us who have the best interests of St. Lucia at heart will act. Don't take us for granted. Richard Frederick must resign. Richard Frederick has to go. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much. Just heard there from former Social Transformation Minister and the PRO of the UWP, Mr. Leonard Spider Motut. We continue with your calls. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Thus far, we have not been able to take any of your calls, particularly talking about the ordinary news spinners, and also we have not been able to go through some of your WhatsApp messages. So let me see if I could go through a couple of them. Somebody says that, Tim, politics needs some fresh, young blood. Let all of them adult politicians take a bow. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages to go through. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, okay. Okay, somebody says there, good afternoon. Referring to Wasco. Wasco has a policy that they will not give a water connection if you are more than 200 feet away from the main. This is backward thinking. This is the time for Wasco to make water more accessible to the citizens. This is a policy that is enforced. I don't understand why this is an issue to get a meter or even additional meters. In essence, Wasco is demanding that everyone build their homes close to a water main. The other option is to pay thousands of dollars for a main extension. That's ridiculous in this day and age, according to a WhatsApp message. Another one says there, Tim, to borrow one of Rick's favorite quotes, all that is required for evil to flourish is for good men to do nothing. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Another one says there, that man can talk. The show finished. See you tomorrow. Okay, that's according to a WhatsApp message. We'll see if we have a call on the landline, but in the meantime, we go through a WhatsApp message, and it reads, good day, Tim. Question, since England and Ireland are tightening their immigration policies when it comes to St. Lucia, wouldn't our passports become useless to those who have it through the CIP? And what happens when more countries follow England and Ireland's? What if they request their funds be refunded? What do we do then? Another one says there, is the government prepared to write those checks since the passports are deemed useless? Well, I don't think you can be refunded in this particular instance. Another one says there, Tim, the new season, Arsenal Shirts was revealed this weekend. A shirt tells 1,000 stories when you didn't see no logo of St. Lucia on it, according to a WhatsApp message. Okay. Let's see there if we have some more of your messages to go through. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp, Tim, step program finish. Just now the cry will be prisoners and foreigners taking our work. Look it, Vaval finish. No money to send kids to school in September. Another person says Sarah should beat pants too. And let's see if we have some more of your messages. Another person says there, Tim, I want to know what the Ministry of Sports are doing with the grassroots cricket in Gros-Islet. I realize that football has been given first priority. These young boys in the grassroots cricket, they have done exceptionally well, particularly in the Sandals tournament. And it's months now, no training for these young players. Where are the cricket coaches in St. Lucia to help these young players? We, the parents, want to see what's going on. In St. Lucia sports, it's only when you try to do everything on your own in sports, that's when government embraces you. The young players had after-school training, and it certainly died out. I want the Ministry of Sports to address that important issue at the soonest opportunity. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says the blessed afternoon. I'm a concerned resident of Plateau Barbano. Just imagine in 2026, Wasco is going out to every community of Barbano to place water tanks and asking us to go collect water from it. Wasco, are you people serious? Instead of sending water to our pipeline, we the people of Plateau Barbano last received water in our lines on the 10th of July, which is 3 weeks ago, and I got a bill for $64.89. What is going on? According to a WhatsApp message. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, and we'll be going through the NewsSpin news of the day. Stay with the broadcast.
Advance your career at LightSpark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, LightSpark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Now is the time to head up. Join us at the Bellevue Hotel Rooftop Lounge for the Rooftop After Work Lime, happening every last Thursday from June through November. We kick things off Thursday, June 25th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come through for sunset views, cocktails, good music, great people, and the kind of lime that makes you forget about that work email. Bring your crew, meet somebody new, and enjoy a different seasonal vibe every month. Entry is US $40 per person. Space is limited, so don't get left downstairs. Call 456-1800 to reserve your spot. The Rooftop After Work Lime at Bellevue Hotel. Your new favorite way to end the month.
Every day, the pain is still there. Back, neck, shoulder, hip, chronic arthritis, pain down your leg to your toes, or heel pain when you put your foot on the ground. You've tried many things, but nothing works. Waiting will only make it worse. At La Clinique du Corps, we find the real cause of your pain using advanced MRI scans from head to toes with no radiation for more accurate results. Our specialist doctors provide faster diagnosis and effective treatment. Less pain, better movement, better life. All insurance is accepted. Call now before it gets worse. 451-6559, that's 451-6559, or WhatsApp 721-9950. WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique du Corps. Stop suffering. Start living.
We ready for the road. We ready for the road. We First National. Your next move bold. We ready for the road. We ready for the road. We First National Bank. Your next move bold. Get ready for your next ride with the drive ahead from First National Bank. Enjoy up to 100% financing and rock bottom interest rates on new vehicle loans. Because we're not only here for you, we're driving ahead with you. For the road with First National Bank. Your next move bold. Visit one of our partner dealerships, any First National Bank branch, or firstnationalbankonline.com today. Promotion runs through November 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for premium quality, frozen fresh at an unbeatable price? Visit Kenty's today, your one-stop shop for wholesale and retail liquor and frozen foods. Now fully stocked with chicken wings, chicken legs, chicken necks, pigtails, turkey wings, and so much more. Visit Kenty's on Chaussee Road today or give them a call at 461-3446. Kenty's, frozen fresh, great prices, and service you can trust.
Lucilec aveti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone ça là. Mi un petit commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Couiller Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pou ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas venir moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you. you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus, all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
St. Lucia, are you ready? The Kings are back. This August, come experience the excitement of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League cricket as the St. Lucia Kings light up the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Join us on August 12th, 14th, 16th, 19th and 21st from 7 p.m. Come for the cricket, come for the entertainment, come for the music, the vibes, the food and the unforgettable atmosphere. Bring your friends, bring your family, and wear your King's colors with pride as we defend our home turf. St. Lucia Kings, one nation, one pride. Get your tickets now and be part of the action at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
The very popular Catcher Day is back, and the buzz is going around like a busy bee. And it makes sense because customers are guaranteed 15% off on all Kasha machines. People have been itching to hear this news, and it's finally here. The dates, August 28th and 29th, 2026. The place is Europa Hardware in Massad. The event is Catcher Day for the fathers, men and ladies too. Everyone wants to pay less and get more. This is your time. Vacuum cleaners, pressure washers, steam cleaners, upholstery cleaners, carpet cleaners, floor scrubbers, and more. Don't say if I'm new. Now you know. 452-0763 Europa.
Epic Events and Events St. Lucia presents St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, August 14th to 16th. A unique crossover event linking the English and French Caribbean. Saturday, Mercury Fest at Pigeon Island Beach, featuring Merrill, Fanny J, DJ MJ, and top regional DJs. Sunday, the Boca Run along St. Lucia's spectacular West Coast for a chance to win 5,000 euros. Tickets available at fourcirclestickets.com, bzook.com, The Cell, and 6 Car Rental in the Rodney Bay Marina. Follow us on social media. St. Lucia Mercury Fest Weekend, supported by St. Lucia Tourism Authority.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We'll take a final call and then we'll conclude our broadcast. I think earlier on, Mr. Leonard Spider-Man Toot might have made reference to the Director of Finance being a part of the Board of Directors of the SSDF. I think the name he gave was Imran Matthews, but that person is actually Imran Williams, representing the Ministry of Finance on the board of the St. Lucia Social Development Fund. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you on the air. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, team. Good afternoon. Are you hearing me well?
Loud and clear, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to all the listeners. Tim, some time ago, I sent you a message with regards to finding out from the Ministry of Health or the Minister as to what's the situation with surgeries, cataract surgeries at the ministry, at the hospital. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if anybody ever responded or because
I think the information I received then was that it would have resumed within a fortnight or so. So that would have been several months ago. That would have been a few months ago.
It's about yes. Yeah, because they had started, but the equipment got affected and so on. So I don't know what's the problem. So it will have been nice. Because so many people are waiting, for those surgeries, and they have not heard anything, and people are just so worried. All right, thank you. So
okay. All right,
if there's any other update, I'll be happy if somebody says something. Thank you, all the best.
Okay, ma'am,
Enjoy
you
the rest
too.
of the day.
All right, thank you so much for calling. So, Ministry of Health officials, if you can provide us with an update regarding this particular eye care program, if you have an update to share with the wider audience, you could always use this medium, NewsSpin, to do so. Let me see if I have an WhatsApp message. Somebody says that we, the Actil family, would like to wish Mr. Hugh Atkins his 100th birthday today. So happy birthday to you. So 100 not out. Happy birthday to you from the family. We'll take another call at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. WhatsApp message, somebody says, why does national sports teams representing St. Lucia, why do national sports teams representing St. Lucia have to raise funds for travel/expenses? Ministry of Sports, come forward. Again, according to a WhatsApp message. Another one. It says there, I was hoping the last call would have been that of Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. If he wishes to, we will take his call. He knows the number. And if you don't know the number, Mr. Pierre, your handlers, certainly those who are doing the PR for you, I'm sure readily they'll provide you with that information. It's a case of one of those guys just dialing and handing the phone over to the Prime Minister. All right, let's see if we have a few of your WhatsApp messages we can go through before we conclude the broadcast. Remember, we could take a final call. Somebody is just in the WhatsApp message reads, not all protests are of people and crowds are shouting and screaming in the streets. Some are silent protests and some can take place on paper. Bravo to Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra for her one-woman protest. In Jamaica, there is a saying, this need crowd or she need fee draw down crowd. If I was Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra, I would call in local and regional media to cover my silent protest. This would be a most strategic move to get the message to capture the attention of the Caribbean broadly. Media is a powerful tool when used at the right time and in the right way. That's according to a WhatsApp message. We continue to record several crashes and collisions in St. Lucia. I think to date we have recorded some 16 road fatalities. 16 road fatalities recorded over the last 7 months as we speak up until today. That is a lot for St. Lucia. Remember, several years ago we'd have recorded 5, 6, 7, and if you go into double digits, at least 10, 11 for the most, but now we are at 16 and we are just into the 7th month of the year. But there's this tragic accident which occurred in the ancillary area over the weekend, and the victim of that accident has been identified as a 32-year-old Andres Ford of Marcia. Passed away. And I think we have footage of the mangled state of the vehicle in which he was driving. And this has totally it has damaged vehicle. And the vehicle is being hauled from a precipice somewhere in the ancillary area. Quite a tragedy. And we hope that various agencies, the authorities, will investigate to find out the cause of that particular accident. But over the weekend we had several other crashes and collisions occurring on the island. So again, we extend condolences to the family of Andres Ford, 32 years old of Marcia. Another occupant of the vehicle, a female, is currently nursing injuries at a health institution. Let's turn our attention now to our NewsSpin news of the day. The NewsSpin news of the day reads, according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the flow of cocaine has not slowed amid boat strikes. According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, the flow of cocaine has not slowed amid boat strikes. Well, as a broadcast, thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the NewsSpin YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the NewsSpin YouTube channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. Goodbye.